legend, Jeremy McGrath. Now that is some serious brapping. That ain't no 5th scale 90cc, which if you've ever seen one run, modded, or even a 50. But let's talk about, let's say a 90, one of the biggest ones I've ever seen. RC Max, modified, 5th scale, I think it was a Losi 5T, I think. 90cc, that thing was doing like 60 miles an hour just hovering the front end. Crazy. That right there, old school. You guys probably don't even know about that. 250cc, ported, polished, modded. Obviously, those guys there, those ain't what you just seen. Those aren't stock. Those are factory guys getting their practice on, and they're serious brap. Okay, it'd be like taping 3 or 2.5 of those 90cc's motors, 5th scale, together. And that thing would still, man, there ain't nothing, I repeat, okay, nothing that sounds, feels, and gives you the adrenaline rush of that. How does the Muggy Maniac know, and why am I showing you that? Because that's what I used to do. The Muggy Maniac, that's what I used to do. I never did it professionally, amateur, but I did that every day when I got off work. Most of the time, because of where I lived, I grew up in an area where there was desert, you know, with around the corner from me. After I got off work, I couldn't wait to jump on my, you know, back then they had 2 strokes. Now it's all 4-stroke. Some of you guys might know about that, some of you guys might not. Some of you guys might know just quads and, you know, ATVs. That's all paraplegic shit. I used to call those guys that run quads and ATVs paraplegic dirt bike riders. Okay? These guys, and man, I would spank any, during that time, any guys, you know, and guys had their quads. Quadzillas and their sick ass, you know, 4-wheel, you know, ATVs, they're quads, they're called, okay? And I would spank their ass on my, I won't say it's modified, had shit done to it. I had Muggy dates himself, the last bike that I owned was a 1992 YZ250. And it was ported and polished, the motor, had trick Boys and Reeds on it, had a sick ass custom Pro Circuit pipe, which Pro Circuit and FMF still make most of the pipes that the guys race and most guys use. Those are like the 2 top. And man, it was, that's why I am the way that I am. The reason I'm showing you guys that is because, you know, that's where the Muggy Maniac gets what I kind of transition this nitro, because that's what I used to do. I'm a motorhead, man. I'm not some guy that just decided, you know what, that looks like a cool hobby. You know, because I ran Eward back in the days, just like John Bodegel. Me and him are kind of cut from the same cloth. You know, I remember one time we were talking, and he's like, man, you're like my brother from another mother. That's why I say that. He's like, man, I wish you were my neighbor, because we would like be brapping like every day after work. We probably would. And I did like him. I built batteries for my Ewards that I used to race. I used to race mostly Associated. I started out racing Traxxas when they were nobody, when they were brand new. So that's why I can talk shit about Traxxas, because I know I used to run that shit when it was good. And it, you know, now that I look back on it, it really wasn't that good. But there wasn't a lot out there. Now, not even close. Traxxas, like I said, once again, this is garbage. Shit. Compared, you know, to everything else that's out there, Traxxas is not even on the freaking radar, man. But that's what I used to do. I broke plenty of bones. Biggest bike I rode, friend of mine had a CR500, which that is a whole nother animal. Those are 250s. CR500, I'm short. I'm not a real big guy. It's just, those are, it's like twice the motor. Still a two-stroke, 500 cc's. Talk about nasty, gnarly, like sometimes scary. You point that thing in the wrong direction and grab a handful of throttle, and you know, you get seriously hurt. I mean, you look at those guys, and those guys are pros, man. Those guys are pros. I mean, I never got to that level, but you know, it was equivalent of us bashers. There's the racers, you know, the guys that race, the Adam Drakes, the Thay Testmans, the David Ungaros, the Ryan Mayfields, the Battles, the Caballeros, you know, all those guys. Compared to us as bashers, those guys would spank our ass, probably even bashing. Because they're professionals. They're pros. They do it for a living. They get paid to do that shit. We don't. We pay to do it. It's the opposite. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to show you guys that, because that's to give you kind of a little bit of, you know, history. And I'm a histrioniano, which means I like history. And they just don't make two-strokes like that. It's all four-stroke now. Sure, they're fast. Sure, the technology has changed. But it's nothing compared. And I rode four-strokes. 650s. XR Hondas made a lot of them back then, too. Before they were water-cooled. 450s, 350s. This is nothing like a two-stroke, man. I kid you not. You don't even know, probably a lot of you guys either don't know what the hell I'm even talking about, or you guys kind of relate. Jeremy McGrath, legend. Ricky Carmichael back then. Guys, you're probably more familiar with Bubba Stewart, the black kid that, you know, was one of the last reigning champs. I don't even know if he's still riding. I've been out of it for a long time, and it's something, even though I'm getting old, I would definitely get back on one of those. I won't get in no new one. No four-stroke. The new one's out. Fuck all that. I would be hunting me down a two-stroke. And those things are expensive now, even more, because they're sought after, because people know they're collectibles. They don't make them no more. Man, but I love that shit. Wah, wah, wah. Just hovering the front end, you know, going across the whoopee sections. Wah, 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 wah. I mean, that shit was... I love that shit, man. That's why I like Nitro, man. Fuck E-Word. They even got electric dirt bikes out now. That's... I don't even want to talk about that. I think that's lame. So anyway, what's up, Nitro Nation, Muggy Maniac? Just kind of giving you guys an idea of, you know, letting you guys kind of... That's what I'm about, man. I'm about fucking real motors, man. Two strokes, brapping, fucking no E-Word bullshit. This is no E-Word channel. I'm not going to even dabble in E-Word. I don't care if it's a crawler. I don't care if it's even a drone. Unless they come out with a nitro drone, I won't ever own one. I could care less. Who cares? You know? I'm okay with my shitty camera work, and I hope you guys are. And if not, I don't know what to tell you. But I will be upgrading soon. I am looking to invest in that. Taking my camera work to another level, you know? As far as giving you guys better quality and kind of see what I see. You know, I'm doing the best that I can, and, you know, it is what it is, but check her out. She is just looking nasty. Look at that God of War. It was okay. My second paint job like that. And I will be doing another body soon. Like I told you guys before, I will be getting a, I'm still not decided if I'm going to get another one. It's for the Mugen NBX7. I want to get a new body. That's the one that I got it with. That came with it when I bought it from the guy that had it. Custom body. It's just, it's beat up. You know, it's a good basher body. I'm going to do one. I don't know if I'm going to do this one or if I want to get a JC Concepts. You know, there's the one from the Techno. It's the same kind of design in the back for the Mugen, but the one for the Mugen, the JC Concept, has a different front. This, if you look at it, looks more like a Bulldog. I think it's pretty sick, but I'm going to do another, not a superhero, I think I mentioned it, I'm going to do the villains. All these superheroes, the Batman, the Spider-Man, you know, Mr. Human Torch, Superman, Captain America, the villains of these guys. They're arch enemies. I want to put that on a body, and it's going to be a first time for me, not doing this type of shit, but, you know, I got to pick out the right villains. I already know I want Venom. I'm probably going to have the Joker for sure. Venom, the Joker. Superman one, I don't know. Lex Luger, because that's his enemy. But, it's not, he's not a really, like, I don't know. He's just not one of those, you know, mean-ass characters, you know. Magneto, I thought of that one too. Which would be cool. And I don't know. You know, one more I'm looking. I want to do 4. Maybe I'll just do those 3. But anyway, welcome all Muggy Maniacs, Buggy Maniacs, Chuggy Maniacs, Monster Truck Maniacs, 5th Scale Insaniacs, those crazy guys with them sick-ass pipes and frickin' 5Bs, 5Ts, frickin', you know, RC Max motors, you know, Cheng Yangs, mod, all that crazy shit. Welcome. All newbies, all my newbies, shout out to, in general, to all the new guys that have been, you know, checking out my channel, and if you know what the Muggy Maniacs got going on, you know, I'll be like The Rock, remember wrestling, do you smell what the, I'll be like, do you smell what the Muggy's cooking? What's your name? It doesn't matter what, I love The Rock. That's when I used to watch wrestling a lot. Now it's, not what it was. Anyway, she's good to go. The only thing that didn't happen, and the reason I'm not running this more than likely this weekend, I'm waiting for the other JX servo that's going to go with this. I've got the one JX servo in here. My brother, shout out by the way, Raja111, doing his thing. Shout out to Elite RC, doing his 5th scale stuff. He's the one that turned me on to these JX. There's another one, this one's aluminum bodied, but the top's not aluminum. It's a good servo. I've used it already. I like it. It's pretty quick. It's got a lot of torque. But he said there's another one that has, it's all aluminum, the whole thing. So I'm going to look into that too. But I got another one coming. Obviously you guys can see. Everything's ready to go except for that. This is the new radio tray. Got the ProTech. I think it's 1600, 1900. Life battery. 6.6. These are great batteries. You know, I'm not fucking with that LiPo shit. I'm not risking anything in what I invested in my shit to have shit melt either my vehicle or, more importantly, burn up my fucking room and everything else. Like, if I got all this shit, I would cry. But more than cry, I don't know what I'd do. I'd go bananas. But anyway, she's sexy, man. She's ready to rock. She just needs that servo in there, and she's ready to, you know, get in the red's ready to get in that ass, you know, and get busy. Well, like I said, I will be getting a new chassis for this soon. Brand new chassis. I'm going to replace the shocks, and yeah, other than that, this thing, there's nothing else you can really do to it. You know, cosmetics, rims and tires, keep it upkeep. So this video is going to be about a few things, okay? Now, I wrote down, some guys had some questions, okay? These are the guys that are obviously paying attention, and they want to learn. We got a Connor Wickpy, I hope I pronounced it right. Talked about, you know, a couple things like cleaning. I think he was the one that was talking about, you know, I do my shit the John Bodejal way, but I will tell you that unless you pull that shit apart, if you just do the John Bodejal way and you think that's it, I don't care if you marinate. Like I marinate, see right here? This is all the MBX7 front end. All completely done. I tore it all the way down, put it all back together, and even after I did it the John Bodejal way, when I started tearing this shit apart, there was rust and shit in there, man, and that was only a couple days. And that works for John. It's nothing bad about what John does. John, and I won't ever talk shit about John because I don't have a reason to. He doesn't give me a reason to. You know, I'll call it how I see it. Just because he's my nitro brother, you know, if he's, you know, leaving out shit or not getting in depth with something that you guys might not, you know, speak the Bodejal language, the Za language, then, you know, I'm going to fill in the gaps. I've learned enough from him. You know, he's one of my nitro brothers for life. And he has helped me in a lot of ways. And a lot of other guys, not just him. You know the guys that I go to. You know, the guys that are my go-to guys. Elite RC, even though he's doing mostly 5th scale. Man, that guy knows his shit. How many guys do you know right now on the channel? And I can only think of a few. I just mentioned one of them that has his fucking cave set up like this. And does that mean, well, because I got all this set up like that, no, it just shows you that I'm serious about my nitro shit. Doesn't mean I'm the best at it. Doesn't mean I'm the best at tuning. I'm the best at this. I'm not the best at nothing. I don't know shit. Remember, there's somebody that said that I'm really confused. So if I'm confused, I don't know. Let me continue to try to unconfuse you if you're confused by me. If you are, please let me know. I'm pretty paint by numbers. You know, connect the dots. I'm not going to be the scientific guy that's going to give you, you know, the Scientology or the scientific terms and explanations for shit, but I will lay it down so you'll understand. And is it I don't think there is a one right way to do anything in nitro. And I heard Adam Drake say that. And this guy I respect because, man, when he speaks, you listen because he's a legend, man. You can't say nothing bad about that guy, but he's a great guy too. Not only that, I've talked to him before, you know, and he's the guy, man. I respect him not just as what he knows and how long he's been around. You don't just because you've been around. Let me touch on something real quick. People think because they've been around on the channel and they've been doing whatever, you know, and they have all the subscribers and their shit throws down and their shit that you see it run. And half of the shit that you see guys run is old footage. How many guys do you see that have run their shit recently? Like, I'm talking within the last week. I'm not talking fucking 2 months ago, excuse my language, a year ago. People are trying to live off their old laurels and bullshit from past. Oh, does that mean you know what you're talking about? Yeah, you do, but like I said before, you're only as good as your last game, and that means, like, your last game. You know, like, recently, not like fucking eons ago. But just because you know all this shit, and because you've been around eons, because you have 1 billion subscribers or whatever, even if you had, you know, Adam Drake never toots his horn like that. He's a very humble guy. You know, but some people think they have some kind of entitlement just because they've been around. You don't are entitled to shit. You don't own nothing. You don't patent nothing. If you keep it simple and you're a likable guy, and you know, and I like to say that I'm pretty easygoing. I just don't put up, man. You know the muggy maniac gets fired up. All I got to do is start drinking some of these right here, and somebody talks shit to me. Oh hell yeah, let's go. What's the old expression? Well, let's go out to the woodshed out back. Let's go to the dumpster. We'll have a dumpster match. We'll handle that. Does that mean I go looking for shit? Go looking for trouble? Just talk shit on people's channels? Like a lot of these trolls don't even have nothing going on. They just subscribe real quick so they can float around people's channels and make stupid comments. Or the other guys that have Traxxas on their shit. I found that. You know? If you're that guy that just wants to fucking talk trash because, you know, whatever, because you don't like me, I don't do this because I don't give a fuck. Like I said, my name is Chuck, and I don't give a fuck if you don't like me. Unsubscribe. I'm not holding you hostage here. Don't watch my videos. I'm only interested in the people that are serious nitro heads. Fuck all the Traxxas bullshit. RTRs you gotta learn. Although you don't really have to start out. You know, there isn't a guideline. Oh, you have to run RTR. You got to start. You don't have to. I've seen guys jump and go, you know, they're going to obviously have to do a lot more dodging of curves because they're jumping ahead. But you don't have to start out, you know, tracks. Definitely not tracks. You don't have to start out pull starts. And you can go right into a back plate motor. I'm brand new. I've never done nitro. I see what's going on. All right, let me get a No Rossi 28.8. Let me fuck all the pull start shit and rotor shit. Do you have to experience that? No, who said you do? I did, but I wish I didn't. But I never got into the rotor start. And I had one pull start motor, and that was enough. And I will never have another one, ever. That's why I can't do a monster truck or Savages. Unless they come out with a back plate and a way to bump start that shit. I won't ever own a Savage. Does that mean Savage isn't a great vehicle? Well, you know, it's... HPI is not the best thing since sliced bread. They make great 5th scale. I think Losi makes better 5th scale shit than they do 8th scale. Honestly. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled to that. People will argue with me. Whatever. I go by what's current, man. I mean, this is old school. Muggy's old school. MBX 7 sure, it's last year's model, but the 8 hasn't proven nothing yet. Ryan Mayfield did win the Nitro Dirt Challenge, which is a really huge race this year with it. But he's a great driver. You know, let's see at the end of the season, and I love that guy. That guy's one of my favorite, besides Adam. You know, I'm a Mugen guy. You know, if you want to say of anything, I love my Techno, but, you know, I got 2 Mugens. I might get another one. I like Mugens, but I might get another Techno, too. I just like quality shit, man. That's what it all boils down to. Talk shit about my Techno. What do you got? What are you running? Low C? Come on. My Techno will spank that ass. It will, maybe not, maybe you might have a bigger motor, maybe your setup might be better, I don't know. Quality-wise, longevity, lasting, durability, I guarantee you this thing is way better in all those categories than a low C. Hands down. And it's a design that currently is winning top 10 year in, year out. Same thing with this thing. They changed mostly the front end on it, a little bit in the drivetrain. I'm going to touch on drivetrains in a minute, specifically with this one. But they don't have to change a lot. Mugens are way ahead, man. Their shit is, well, they don't have to change it every year. A lot of times it's just a few tweaks here and there. Now when the 7 came out, that was a big change. Shocks, braking, you know, a lot of stuff. Bend, angle bend in the chassis to stiffen it. You know, that was the biggest change, was the 7. Okay? 8 hadn't do a lot. Just the front end. They changed it mostly. And a little bit other little things. But this thing already proved last year. Ryan Mayfield took, what, 2nd in the world. You know, I wish he would have got 1st, but, you know, Thay Testament's freaking Canadian guy in his X-ray. That kid's like, man, he's constantly in there. You know, so I want to take something that's race developed, race designed, and take it, like I said, and transition into bashing. You can't take a Traxxas and do that. You can't take an HPI and do that. You can take a Losi and do that, but again, Losis aren't really in the top notch right now, just because Horizon owns that shit, man. Horizon doesn't give a fuck, excuse my French, about racing and developing. Okay? If you have followed that Dirt Nitro, and you can watch it on YouTube, all Losi bigwigs were out there because they were like, okay, we're under the gun right now because we've had this X out for a whole year, all 2018, and they didn't do shit. Not even podiums. Okay? This year, Dakota Fenn, which races for Team Losi, came in 2nd to Mayfield. I mean, Mayfield swept everybody in the Nitro Challenge recently. But Dakota Fenn, man, that kid can drive, but they finally got the X somewhat figured out. Now, does that mean they're going to start winning now? I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. All I know is Mugen has been winning. Techno, now they got freaking Tebow. That guy's top 5 right now, you know, in the world. He just went from Kyosho. I don't know what happened there, because Kyosho's a great platform. Maybe he's seen something in Techno. Maybe most of the time it's money. You know, it's a business. They offered him big money, gave him a little bit more free reign, and he said, hey, hell yeah. So that's what happened with Adam Drake. That's why he left Losi. They wanted to constrict him and, you know, and everything, put him in a box. He said, no, fuck all that. You don't want to pay me what I'm worth. He is a legend. And you want to tie my hands, and that had to do with Horizon. You know, you can do your own research. Don't believe what I say, you know. Do your homework. But anyway, so we're going to talk about, you know, some shit. You know, cleaning the rust. You know, sorry, I got, you know, Muggy Maniac again gets a little bit off track. I found a lot of deposits of rust. Oh, there's somebody's brapping out in front of my pad. In my shit. And I haven't even got to the rear end yet. We've got the rear end's going to come off of this thing. I just got these in. I got some new mud flaps. I can't find... It's hard to get carbon fiber ones for these things, for the Mugen, because of the fact... See that? It's an angle. Carbon fiber is straight. Carbon fiber flat pieces, you won't get a bend in it. I mean, I could have tried to get some that weren't made for this and put it on, but I don't want to fuck all with that. This is designed for the Mugen Chuggy. These things are important, man. These keep your arms from getting all chewed. Look at that. This is just a few times that I ran these plastic custom ones I made. And look at that. That's from rocks and shit. Especially with the Badlands, man. They're just beating the hell out of his rear end. And if you're running Badlands and some nice knobbies, you might want to use mud guards, or you're going to beat up your arms. And that, you know, you're going to weaken them eventually. I don't like my arms getting all tore up. I replaced these ones, you know, because the guy gave me brand new ones. Extras. You know, and you'll tear up your shock. I mean, a lot of the shit that gets pelted against here, that's what these are for, man. I also, check this out, Fly Sky. I had an issue with one of my Fly Sky receivers. My Fly Sky FS IT4S right there. My newest, that's the latest radio I got, which 130 bucks, man. Can't beat it. It's not a Futaba, whatever, 4S, 7, whatever, but it's also not $500 or 400 bucks. 130 bucks. Best $130 I ever spent. And I had an issue with one of the receivers. I emailed them, and guess what? Within a few days, bam, there's a brand new one. No questions asked. That's what I'm talking about. Then, on the other hand, I got some Dynamite, or no, I'm supposed to get some Dynamite Max Life, the Max Life shoes, okay, for the 4-shoe clutch. This guy just mailed them yesterday. I paid him a week ago. I said, you know what? He complained because I put on the review, you know, this guy's lazy, man. People just want to ship this shit whenever they want. I don't pay you whenever I want. You got your money when you're supposed to. So I expect my shit to be in the mail within 48 hours, or you're gonna get some shit. Muggy Maniac, I don't hold punches, man. And I've been through all that. You guys have seen my video. If not, check it out, of shipping shit for the last few years. Man, don't let these people bully you, man. Not only in Nitro, but when your shit's being shipped. Get what you're supposed to get, when you're supposed to get it. Yeah, sometimes it takes a couple days. Not no extra week or whatever. Hell no. He said, well, can you change my review? Blah, blah, blah. Didn't you read the thing? I was on vacation. I said, I don't give a fuck about your vacation. I paid you when you're supposed to be paid. I expect my shit to be mailed. Now I gotta wait another however many days. I've already waited, you know, over a week. Should have already been here. You're holding up my shit, man. I got 4-shoe clutch flywheel deal. I mean, my 4 shoes that the ones that I need to replace. I mean, where's my, doing some clutch work. We're going to get into the clutches in a minute. Keep in mind, I'm not the clutch expert, but I will show you what I do and what works for me. It might not work for you, but these are done. Look at that. See that? Toast. Done like dinner. Look at that. That shit's... If you just use these regular ones, you will wear them quick. And a lot of that has to do when you're running mods, like I told you before, and we'll get into this. You don't want to run heavy springs on a modded motor, man. John will tell you that, and other guys will. And I'll emphasize it again. You don't need heavy shoes. I mean, it's great for fun and giggles, for torque, and, you know, the front end will pop up really quick because those heavy springs are causing your shoes to come out quick. But you're gonna wear out your shoes like crazy. And unless you want to spend $20 every time, every quart of fuel, then be my guest. All about Nitro. That guy was asking me about pivot balls. He had a pivot ball break on an MB. I've never, and they're not, by the way, FYI, they're not pivot balls. They're called pillow balls. Those are the pillow balls that are Mugen patent. Mugen came out with these. Other guys that have them, like Associated, they just copied Mugen. That's why they even are doing better. Thing that they were missing. They figured the C-hubs weren't working for them anyway, so they're like, let's steal Mugen's design. Pillow balls, they win all the time, and those shit's working, hooking up. So he said he snapped a pillow ball. I've never, and I beat the hell out of all my rides, but I mean, I haven't jumped it off a building or anything, but I've never heard of a pillow ball breaking. You might want to hit up Adam Drake on that. Like I said, it could have been the guy that had it, just didn't really take care of his shit and whatever. Make sure when you adjust those pillow balls that you don't have too much slop and they're not too tight. You got to have just the right amount of play, or you will snap them. Apparently. After run oil. Some guy was talking about after run oil. Adam Drake, he had a video he uploaded. Check it out. Marble Mistral, I use that shit and it's been around longer than me and I'm older than dirt. I mix it like I said before. Look at my last video. I mix marble, 75%. I put like 10 or 11 drops, eye drops like, of 3-in-1, and I put like 10 or 15. If you're really interested in my exact measurements and mixture, then you can get at me and I'll let you guys know. You know, I'm not going to make a science out of it, but, you know, just kind of make my own concoction. It's like making a cocktail, you know? You just throw shit in there, and hey, and all that shit, too much of it or not enough of any of it's not going to hurt nothing. You cannot mix Mr. Oil, 3-in-1, and that Novarossi engine oil either way you want, and all those three of those things mixed together or apart are not going to do any damage or anything bad to anything you put it in, including your motor. Okay, and I've been using that for a while, and I love that shit, man. That way that I mix it like that, it just works really well. And it's great for longevity, too, if you're going to store your motor for a long time. Hot bodies. Hot bodies are great. One of the other guys, I can't remember his name, forgive me, mentioned he was thinking about a hot body. Hot bodies are great. If I were you, I would look, and you can get it for cheap. You can get a brand new one. Depends on what your pockets allow. Maybe, I think they're like $600, $700. Yeah, that's not chump change, but you get a pretty decent Orion pipe and header and a Orion .21 5-port motor. I'm not sure which one it is, but I know that comes with the kit. I almost bought it not too long ago. But, you know, hot body stuff, you want, again, you got to look around at these older vehicles that either are discontinued or they don't make no more, because if the parts aren't available and hard to find, it's just going to be more hassle for you. It's not really, you know, if you want to go through all that, then go ahead, you know. But don't cry and bitch and complain when something breaks and then it takes you a month to get it. I did that shit with the XTM. You know, it was my first one and everything, and I love that thing. But it also turned me into being really good at researching and finding and hunting down shit. Like I said, if it exists on this planet, okay, in nitro parts, whatever it is, the Muggy Maniac will find it. I've got good at that. Trust me. That laptop over there is, man, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have nothing. My hobby shop ain't going to give me shit. I don't have a track day hobby, I wish. And the XTM, same thing. A guy's thinking about getting XTMs. You can get them pretty cheap, but again, look around for the parts. You might want to start, if you're going to get it, make sure all the parts are available. And those aren't like, okay, if you don't get the part right now, it's going to be gone a week later. Or it's the last one, somebody's going to buy it. Man, there's shit that I seen that was when I got this thing almost 4 years ago that's still on eBay that still hasn't sold, because for whatever reason, a lot of people, because they don't know a lot about it, they're like, I don't know about this thing. Is it good? Yeah, well, I can tell you, it's not the best, but to learn on and for the price, and man, I love it. I would have never changed me buying that. I'm not sorry I bought this. It taught me a lot about nitro. It is a different type of vehicle, a whole different setup, not the best quality. But I like the way it looks, which is one thing that attracted me to it. And, you know, I did all the upgrades to it. And I made it my own. That's one thing I like about stuff like this. When you do, you know, get something that's stripped down, make it your own. Personalize it. Make it your personal vehicle. There is no other XTM in the world like mine. Guaranteed. Not one. That's why I love this thing. It's very unique. Does that mean it's the best? And does it? No. But it's a fun vehicle. I love to drive it. You guys seen it. This thing rips ass. It's just because it's not of the top quality, like a Mugen, like a Techno. Okay, I can't push it too much. Although I have all the parts to replace it and build another one, I was thinking, you know, maybe I should throw in the modded Pico in that thing. The modded Novarossi, and just let's try to kill this thing. That's, you know, I don't want to do that to this thing, man. This thing's a classic. It's one of a kind. They don't make them anymore. It's discontinued. You know, it's an antique, man. I can't pound this thing to death, and I already have, and I've, you know, pushed it pretty much with that Novarossi 28.8, even though it's stock. This thing's designed to have a piece of shit .247, whatever was in that thing when I got it, you know. But anyway, and then another guy, Badlands. Now the Badland tires, okay, you can get them. They're really hard. I got 2 pairs coming. I tracked down. They don't have anymore. Good luck finding them. Some guys are finding them. But you can't, there is a way around that. You can get the Badland 1178 with those piece of shit heavy-ass tank Durangos on them that are unglued. But you're going to spend $100. I can't really judge. I've got a couple more pair coming. I think they'll be the last ones that I get. So Badlands, they're not around. They're not going to make them. Now the MX ones, I heard, they're okay. I don't know. That's just, I'm going by what I hear. I'd have to, again, run them and try them and see what they are. They said this pattern is really decent. They designed it off dirt bikes, motocross, which you guys just seen, off that same type of knobby, which is where they got the design for the Badlands 1178s. And when you're running tires, or when you're running Badlands, in order to minimize your ballooning, you want to put 4-inch rims. DE Racing rims, which are cheap. I mean, they're not cheap quality. They're not expensive, I should say. They're 4-inch, a little tight to put on. But still, I've glued these things right way, let them set for a day or two, and I've still had them start to come apart on me as I run them. So, and part of that, I think, is because the Proline insert foam is garbage, and I hear that not just from me, but a lot of guys that run Proline inserts. Their inserts are cheap. Okay, the blue ones, the blue inserts you see are okay. Now there is AKA and JC Concepts. Now they only make trucky tires for racing. You know, the pins, small pins, like the blockades. Most people are familiar with those. But they're I don't know if they make a 4-inch rim. I'll look into that. But I'm happy with my DEs. 20 bucks for 4 rims. Man, I got a whole nother black set that's going on in my next Badlands that come. And I'll probably put another set, I don't know what color, maybe yellow, on these tires, which are the ZD Racing. I showed you guys these tires. These are the only tires that I found that are similar to Badlands. Okay. And they're very inexpensive. It's going to take you a few weeks to get them. You got to be patient. But you look. These are fatter, which means more tire on the ground. You're getting more bite. But these obviously got the better knobs. But these work well. And again, shitty. You know, they don't come with the DE Racing rims. Matter of fact, I'll show you what they look like. Hold on a second. These are the original ones. This is how they come. I haven't glued these ones yet, because I don't know if I'm going to run these rims. These you get, this is a brand new one. 4 of these with the rims, they come glued, for like 40 bucks. That's cheap. I think I'm going to buy me another pair. I like the pattern. It's got a nice knobby pattern. These things are a little soft, but they hook up. They do well. But you got to change the foam. The foam that comes in these things, I've already changed it. The foam insert. And I would suggest putting Gorilla Tape inside of them. Make sure you don't wrap it around more than once. Okay, one layer. And, you know, it's not going to give you too much weight more, but the biggest thing is it's going to eliminate, or not eliminate, but it's going to even lessen the ballooning. So, anyway, ZD Racing, I have, if you guys want the part number, I have that. Just hit me up. I'll get it to you if you're interested. But it's for Badlands, man. There are no more. Good luck on finding them. If you find them, you know, that's why these things have never touched the concrete and never will. I'll never run those in the street. Hell no. And we'll see how long they last. You know, I'll have 4 pairs. I think that'll last me a while. But I gotta have to look at other rims in the near future. I mean, other tires. And I like those ZD tires. They're pretty decent, you know. And, you know. So, Badland 1178s, you can get them. But you're going to have those Durango shitty Proline heavy tires. You're going to pay $100. I would pull those garbage tires off if you're going to spend that money and get those. And throw them on some DE 4-inch rims. Okay. They have to be 4-inch. Don't have to be, but if not, they're going to balloon like crazy. Or Proline makes 4-inch rims too. But but they're going to be more expensive. Proline rims are pricey. I have a couple pair, but I don't really run them. I have some in case I want to do some racing later. I have these. These are brand new. I've never used them. These are, they're called revolvers. They don't even make these tires no more either. They're brand new. Real grippy. And these are Proline rims. You know, but I like my Badlands, man. I like my Badlands and I like my DE. DE, great company. Had one issue with the rim. Replaced it and I'm quick. A guy gave me 4 of them instead of 1. Okay, so I think that covers what all the questions that everybody had. Oh, LRP. One more thing before we get into this next few minutes of some wrenching here. This is going to be another hour video. You know, I'm not apologizing for my length of my videos. They're going to be an hour. It's just because I have so many people asking so many things, and instead of me doing a bunch of videos, I'm just going to do it in a couple, and they're going to be an hour each. Then it is what it is. If you want, you guys can, you know, tune out. You don't have to listen to me babble and, you know, or whatever. You know, do whatever you want. You know, you don't have to listen to me. I'm not holding anybody hostage here. LRP point 32. Rick found another issue. Now, again, we go over this. The LRP point 32, I can't emphasize this enough. I don't want to get too much into this. I have a video back. Check my videos of showing you, and you guys should know by now. If not, LRP point 32s are a little bit of work to get them where they need to be to perform, or I should say, get the max performance out of them. One, you got to change the carburetor. X-Tech carburetors are garbage. Don't even try running it. You're wasting your time. We've already done it. I'm not the only one. X-Tech carburetors, piece of shit. You won't ever tune that thing right. So you got to run an Oberossi carburetor. They're about $100. So the motor is 179, 180 if you can find it. By the way, I don't see any out there. A-Main doesn't have them. They're back ordered, so I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe they've got rid of all their bullshit ones, and maybe they might start producing some ones the right way and addressing some of those issues that they've had. And I'm sure they've got wind and they know what's going on. But Rick has, if you go on Facebook, look up Rick Brake is his name, the owner and modder of the modded motors that I have, RB Mods. He shows the inside sleeve. Looks like that thing seized, and it's got a notch in it. And it's brand new. He said I believe he said 1 out of 10 LRP point 32s, and these are the spec 4s that everybody's getting or looking for. 1 out of 10 has issues. So if you run that thing stock, once again, and if you're a gambling man, go ahead. I'm not a gambling guy. I don't feel like playing the lottery with a $200 motor. Okay, there's a possibility that thing will seize on you, that you'll destroy that motor. Do what you want. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to Rick. You know, experiment yourself. Let me know how that works out for you. But if you're going to get an LRP, keep in mind, you almost need to mod it. It's your call. It's up to you. I only give you the information as I get it from very reliable sources. You got to change the carb. You got to mod it. All that. You're going to spend $400 on an LRP motor, bottom line. Don't even get that motor and try to break it in. Like I've told you, I do with all my motors. That one I even did. And I'm lucky, because I didn't know about the issue, I'm lucky that that thing didn't blow up on me, that I didn't have a problem with that. Or I would have been, excuse my language, fucked. And I would have been really pissed. And LRP would have been hearing like a lot of emails and shit from me. You know? As soon as I found that out, I was like, because I was going to keep it stock and get another one and get it modded later. Mr. Zah said, shut that thing down if you're going to mod it. And then I seen the video of the issues that thing had, and I was like, oh, hell no. I'm getting this thing modded. Rick will clean it up. Rick will make that thing, you know, rock and roll. But keep in mind also another thing, he's doing that work on a shitty quality. It's the quality of the LRP point 32s are crappy to begin with. So he's not working with a very, how should I say, solid foundation. The core of that motor as it is, even though whatever he does to it, who knows how long it'll last. Definitely won't last as long as a Novarossi or a Pico or a Rez or even an OS. He was even saying, I was just talking to Rick today. We were talking for about an hour. I talk to Rick periodically because, you know, I'm getting some more motors modded, and I'm just getting his advice before I make other moves and certain things that I might want to do. But he was telling me an OS isn't the best quality. He said, I fix those things all the time. He said, but it's better quality than LRP. So what does that tell you? It tells you that without his work, and still with his work, the LRP .32 isn't a quality motor. It is what it is. Call it how I see it. You guys do whatever you want. I'm just telling you. So that's that. Okay. Zow. Yeah, look at that. Bam. You guys ready? Bam. Look at that. Bam. 9886. Bling bling. 41032. Modded. Not stock. Okay. Modded. Stock one's over there. Modded 28.8 Rex Legend, ready to rock and roll. So because that servo didn't come in, I didn't get time today because I had family stuff to do. And you know, there's one thing I will tell you guys, even though I am gung-ho and sick in the head, nitro, not, you know, gearhead, nitro head, whatever you want to call me, other than the muggy maniac. I've been called some pretty nasty things. I won't mention. But like I said, muggy maniac, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's all water under the bridge for me. Nothing will ever be more important, more important than my family. Family's first, man. And you guys, I don't know, you guys do what you want, and I'm not telling people how to live their lives, but my family's more important than anything. My nitro's not going anywhere, okay? So when I have family stuff and my kids, like my daughter's coming to see me tomorrow, but she is coming later on, which means that I'm going to get some run time, trust me. And since I'm not going to run that because I don't want to jock around servos, and I have some brand new salve boxes that I was going to put on there, but those are going in the Mugen. Okay, the ones that I was telling you about, man, within 3 days, they're in here. Savox sent me my brand new servos. Now, these aren't the high-end, $100, $80. I'm not spending more than $50 on a freaking servo unless I'm racing. These are around 35, 40 bucks. Great servo. It's the SC0254. I've only had one issue with him, and, you know, it could have just been, you know, one of those things. But Savox handled me, man. I mean, within 3 days, man, they had me brand new ones, man, in the mail. No questions asked. They didn't even ask for the other ones back. I mean, I sent them the other ones, but they, you know, they didn't give me a runaround like some of these people try to do. Try to give you some bullshit. Muggy Maniac ain't putting up with no bullshit. What else? Oh, I had something else in here too. I mean, I've already unpacked this stuff, and I don't, like I said, Muggy Maniac's not doing the big unboxing thing unless it's pipes and motors, man. That's about it. Or Badlands. Dynamite. There you go. There's a part number DYNP5098. 1.8 inline exhaust rebuild kit. Gotta have some of these, man. Extra springs. Extra gaskets. Never have enough gaskets. I've got enough. I've got Novarossi ones. I got more Novarossi ones coming, which are the best in my opinion. But they're also expensive. And Novarossi, these are like what? These are like $5 for this whole little rebuild kit, which I can use all this shit. Novarossi for one gasket, it's $10. But you know, hey, it's Novarossi. You're gonna pay. You're paying for quality, people. The old saying, you get what you pay for. Well, 80% of the time that is true. What else do I have? Oh yeah, this another look at Dynamite Horizon. Idiots. I ordered medium glue and look what they sent me. Thin. Do not use thin glue, people. Do not use thick glue. Okay? Quick note. When you're doing your tires, unless you're Raja 111, he's pretty good at it. If you run thin glue, that shit will dry instantly. So if you're even crooked a little bit, you're fucked. You just fucked your rim and your tire up. You know. And if you use medium, if you use thick, that shit will take frickin' a week to dry. So anyway, I told them, and they gave me a full refund, plus they're sending me another one. So, I mean, I handle my shit. You guys have any questions about that type of, you know, shit you run into like that? Man, let the Muggy Maniac know. I'll frickin' send them I'll get on their ass. Say, hey, man, take care of the Nitro Nation. Take care of these newbies, man. We don't need any guys getting more discouraged because they have a freaking shipping issue. We don't need that bullshit. We don't have to worry about trying to get the new guys and get you guys dialed in on the basic fundamentals. Tuning, maintaining, troubleshooting. So clutches. Let's touch on clutches real quick. Okay, we did a little bit of the tire thing. I will tell you, Badlands, those are the things you want to look out for. They're great tires, but they're not going to eliminate their ballooning. Those things still look like pizza cutters with my modded motors. These two modded motors, all three of these, even the freaking modified Reds .21 is making pizza cutters out of these. So I might have to pull those Badlands apart. Okay, and there's a way to do that. Be on another video, and line it with some Gorilla Tape, because those things still are, because as the rubber, let me give you another quick tip before we get into clutches. Real rubber will soften quicker than synthetic. These aren't 100% rubber. They would be like twice the price. These, I was surprised, these ZD Racing Chinese tires, these are 100% rubber, but rubber grips better. Rubber, it lasts long. Well, it doesn't, I don't say it lasts longer. All I'll say about real rubber is they grip better. Always. If you know anything about tires, same thing with when I was riding dirt bikes. You know, I mean, real rubber is like, not a lot of people use real rubber because it's expensive. I'm surprised these Chinese guys, ZD Racing here, use real rubber. But the problem with real rubber is it wears a lot faster. So it's got its pluses and minuses. So those Badlands will outlast these. Not just because the knobbies are bigger, because it's got synthetic in it. But they don't, and those things grip well too. So if they were to make a Badland out of all rubber, 100% rubber, not synthetics mixed in it, that shit would hook up like crazy. And they already hook up. So yeah, there's not really much science to tires. I mean, you can go bigger in the front. Some people do, which will give you a little bit more top end. I mean, it's all, you know, rotating mass, smaller in the back. That's the way we used to run it back in the days. When I was racing E-Word, and Losi had tires, they're like almost look like a paddle tire, if you know what that is. Has the ridges in it, the thick ridges. They ran bigger paddle tires, or not paddle tires, because those had the paddles on them. They were like a ridged tire. Had like a ridge around it, 4 ridges around it instead of knobbies or pattern. And those things were bigger, and then they ran smaller ones in the back. So you would get a little bit more top end and a little bit less, and you would still have the bottom end. See, with these Badlands, because they're a little bit taller, you're going to get a little bit more top end than you will with those ZD, because ZDs aren't as tall. I don't know if you guys noticed that when I showed you. But anyway, yeah, so, alright, clutches. Now, I'm not the scientific clutch guy. I mean, you guys know who he is. We don't talk about him on my channel no more. We just use a secret code. But no, that guy knows his shit on clutches. He has a video. I mean, if you really want to get scientific about it, it might be too much for some newbies. So I try to keep it simple. You don't want, first of all, I mentioned it earlier, don't run heavy shoes. First of all, let's start from the basic springs. There's a thing called spring up, spring down. Spring up would be a heavier spring. Spring down would be a lighter spring. And it all depends on the type of surface you're running. I mean, surface you're running on. I learned that too. Certain surfaces, blah, blah, tongue-tied there, you're going to want to spring down. Certain surfaces, you want to spring up. I heard a guy said that he tunes his shit and gets it rocking and rolling in the park, but when he goes to race at the track, man, he's all over the place. Well, obviously the terrain's going to be different. Tracks are different than running in the park. You know, that's common sense. 1 and 1 is 2, right? So that's about the springs. As far as spring-wise, I don't suggest, and you can ask around, like I said, and I'll tell you from the get-go, what I'm going to explain to you right now is, and everything in my video that I ever explain to you guys or tell you about, don't just take my word. Do your homework, do some research. And if you find out something different, or say, hey, muggy maniac, when you told me about that, I found out, well, actually, quite to the contrary, you got it backwards, or you know what, it's the other way. Go ahead, correct me, man. I'm nobody special. Just don't come, you know, talking shit. Or, you know, I might say, okay, you're right, but, you know, fuck off with your attitude. You know, I won't ever say that. I'm just talking on my ass. But anyway, light springs on modified motors. and I suggest run 4 shoe. I run 2 composites, which are the plastic, 2 aluminum. Now remember, aluminum isn't just aluminum. There's different types of grade of aluminum. Remember what I do for a living. There's 60, 61, which is the most common, and there's 70, 75. So you get aluminum shoes that are different aluminums that are going to last longer than others, and they're going to grab different. Okay? Now, that's another thing. I've never heard anybody talk about that. I've seen guys do all these videos, but what about, what kind of aluminum is it? What kind of grade is the metal? I mean, you ever thought about that? 7075, because it's a stronger aluminum, is going to last longer. The 6061, which is the common aluminum, is going to wear quicker. It's softer. It's kind of like gold. You know anything about gold? The lower the carat, like 10 carat, I used to have an old, long time ago, 10 carat ring is pretty strong. When you get up to 24 karat, and they have even above that, 48 karat, that shit is soft. It's common metal, I should say, I don't know if it's called metallology, if that's the right term, but, you know, different metals and different composites. I mean, they make carbon fiber ones. I want to try those to see what that does. But anyway, I don't want to get this thing all complicated, man. Like I said, I'm trying to keep this paint by numbers simple for you guys, because that's what works for me. I'm not into the science. I don't want to know the science of what happens. I do know aluminum ones, because you think that aluminum would be lighter, but actually or would be heavier. Aluminums they're lighter. You think plastic would be lighter? It's the opposite. Plastic is heavier, aluminum is lighter. So the plastics, because of their heavier, and because of, if you know, rotating mass, centrifugal force of its spinning, the heavier one is going to come out quicker in the lower RPMs. Okay? The lighter one is going to come out later. Now, if that makes sense, because it's heavy, so when it rotates, that weight, because of the weight, because it's heavier, comes out quickly. So in the lower RPMs, the plastics are coming out sooner because they're heavier. Aluminums are coming out later. So on the plastic, okay, are you guys following me? I'm trying to keep this simple, and this is where nitro can get a little bit technical, man, with clutches, because there's a lot to it, man. And I'm not even talking flywheels yet, and I won't get into that. Just simple clutch shit. Just on aluminum clutches, even if 70, 75, you got to still experiment on your own. I personally run, because they come out later, I run heavier springs. Heavier springs, well, not heavy, I'd say medium, depending if you're running mod or stock. Okay, just remember this basic rule of thumb. Stock motor, you don't want to run real heavy springs. It doesn't, I mean, you want to run real heavy springs because it needs the help. Okay? Those heavier springs are going to help that motor engage, you know, faster. To where a modded motor doesn't need your help. It doesn't need help. You want to run lighter, medium to light springs on a modded motor. You know? Ask Mr. Zaw, man. He has a video on that. I learned that from him. And, you know, Adam Drake, same thing. He'll tell you. Ask Rick. I mean, these are people that I talk to. I mean, I'm not just making this shit up like I told you guys. Or, hey, this is what I use, and this is I do this because that's what I learned. And it doesn't always work out, because motors are different. RPMs all motors are going to react different to everything. You can't say that your Novarossi 28.8 stock, like the one I have, is going to run exactly the same. They're just not. I'd like to say, I mean, there's a lot of similarities to how it runs, because it's the same for the most part, but it's not. Each motor is uniquely different. They don't mass produce these Novarossis enough to where they're so quickly stamped out that, you know, they're all exactly the same. I've heard different things about, you know, just like the guy we were talking about with the pillow balls. He had pillow balls snap or break. I've ran that XP, that thing got away from me. You guys, I didn't get it on video not too long ago, and that was one of the issues I had with that FlySky receiver. I was having problems with it. And that thing locked up on me, and if you've ever had a runaway, that's the second time I've had it happen on the buggy. So I ran the buggy, Mugen MBX5, into a wall, and that wasn't a servo a receiver issue, that was a battery issue, and it got away, and that thing hauled ass into a brick wall, and it held up. It did. It should have, any other platform probably would have destroyed the whole front end. That thing is a tank. Same thing with this. And I did not, and it ran right into a wall too, man. Ah, bam! I think it was one of the videos that I was running that you guys seen, and it was after I got done shooting, and I was still running. Wow! And there's no sicker, gnarly, makes you want to cry feeling than watching your shit full throttle lock up and run away. And go right into a wall. You're just so, I mean, I wanted to just, I don't know if I wanted to cuss, scream, cry, throw my remote, you know, across the park where I was at. And that thing, nothing happened to it, man. Sure, it loosened up some stuff and maybe, you know, but nothing broke. Definitely didn't break no pillow balls. So I don't know, that guy is just one of those isolated cases. Same thing. Exact same vehicle. Same pillow balls that I run, you know, pillow balls are pillow balls for this vehicle. Well, they do make titanium ones. They're expensive, but I'm looking at those. I mean, why not? Same thing with the motor, man. Your motor's different. How did you break your motor in? Did you break your motor in or get it broken in? You know, when you break in your motor, it's different too. You might break it in a different way than I do. All these things are very unique. But, you know, for the most part, I run, like I said, I like to run on this stock one. I like to run 3-shoe. 3-shoe clutches are cool. I mean, they work good. Mostly people run them on buggies. So buggies and stock, these are okay. But when you get in the truggies and modified, definitely you run them on 4-shoe. Buku has the good shoes. Also found out from Rick, Buku does not even have a number you can call. Me and Rick were talking about that. That's one reason I don't deal with Robin over there in Canada, and I didn't deal with Nil when he was modding Moser TNS. If I can't call that person, and I can't talk to somebody, and not a bunch of machines and fax and email, fuck all that, excuse my language. I will not do business with you. For the record, you guys probably know this, and I have enough of them, so I really don't need any more. I've got extra ones too. Outerwears does not have a contact number. So guess what? Since I don't need any more, I have extras, even for newer vehicles that I get, I will no longer be buying any outerwears directly from them. They don't even have a number. I can't talk to nobody because I had a question if they made a certain outerwear for, I think it was the Techno. That's what it was. There's nobody to contact. I'm not going to deal with somebody who doesn't even have a fucking, excuse my language, number. So anyway, simple basic clutching, okay? Remember, if you want to run the 4-shoe, which I suggest on a truggy, especially modified, 2 aluminum, 2 composites. On the aluminums, I would run the heavier springs because it's a lighter shoe. It's going to come out later, and that'll kind of give you happy medium. The plastics, which are the heavier ones, come out sooner. Run a light spring on them. So that's my take on those. And it's not, there's not, am I 100% accurate on, this is what I do and this is what works for me. You seen my shit run. You seen my shit, you know, idle. You seen my shit, you know, it's not doing handstand or wheelie stands all the way down the street. That runs pretty decent. I think my shit runs pretty well. So anyway, that's all I got. That's what's going on. But we're going to get this bad boy. This one's going to run tomorrow. I'm crossing my fingers that all the ducks line up and all that shit. My daughter's not coming till like around 3 or 4 tomorrow. It's going to be another beautiful day like it was today. Man, I wanted to run so bad. But like I said, family's more important. Even though as much as gung-ho and sick in the head nitro, the muggy maniac is, this is not more important than my family. My family comes before anything. Okay? God's first to me. Not to get religious on you or spiritual, but God's first, my family. You know, then since, you know, I'm not married, you're my girlfriend, man. My nitro, I'm more into my nitro. You know, my nitro gets more attention than her. I hope she doesn't see this video, man. She'll freaking leave me. But anyway, yeah. So, that thing, we're going to wrap it. We're going to see how that shit performs and get that thing rocking. doing some touch up and clean up. Keep your shit clean. Maintain even the force sheaves more. And all your clutches. Take the shit even after you run them. Check them. Clean them. Sometimes they get a little bit of edge on them. Take an X-Acto. Shave that off. I learned that from Ryan Letts. Some of you know who he is. Some of you don't. Pro racer. Races for Armanal. But anyway. Maintain your shit. Take care of your shit. Clean your shit. Look at my shit, man. This thing is dirty, man, and it looks clean. But I got it. I'm gonna run it one more time, and I'm gonna totally rip it down. But I still got to put this MBX back together. Still got to finish up some stuff on the muggy. This one's ready to rock and roll. Just needs that servo, and it's ready. It's good to go. So anyway, that's it. I've taken over an hour of your time. Hope you guys learned something. You guys have any question? Comment down below. Muggy Maniac says, hey, if you're shelf cleaning your shit, shelf bitching your stuff, or you guys are still like retired for however long for you know, until you get decent weather, whatever. Set your shit bottom dead center. Don't keep your shit up in the sleeve and fuck your motor up. After run, bottom dead center. Always. Don't forget that shit. Check your shit. Alright, Muggy Maniac is out. Peace.